This is In the Trenches, broadcast 46.
Welcome to In the Trenches, where entrepreneurs, artists, writers, designers, inventors, warriors, and leaders share their stories of doing the hard, creative work that impacts all of our lives. Let the journey inspire you to do something worthwhile, build something bold, and create your life's work. And now, your host, Tom Morkis.
Welcome back, everyone, to another broadcast of In the Trenches. Today's guest is Joshua Rivers, the founder of Creative Studio Academy. Joshua, great to have you here, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what Creative Studio Academy is and why it exists, why you created it.
Well, it started with, I do website design and development. And so as I've worked with clients over the last couple of years, they have been wanting to stretch out into doing more than just a plain basic website. And so they were wanting it to be able to reach out to different clients and things like that. And so they were wanting to implement some different social media and blogging. And so I would work with them on trying to get those things set up. And then after doing that a couple times with some clients, I figured, well, I might as well try to put this to some good use and create a resource instead of trying to come up with it every single time as I'm working with each new client. And so then as I started working on putting some different things together for that, I'm like, well, why don't I just go ahead and make this public, and it could be an extension of my business. And so just anytime I get new clients, I can refer them to the information that's there. And then maybe even providing that information could possibly then funnel some business back to me as far as getting new clients for website work. And so that's kind of how it started. And so the focus of Creative Studio Academy is trying to help people that are getting started with online content creation. And so I'm trying to teach them the basics of being able to start a website, get it going, some different things that they need to have and focus on with their website, and then some basic things with blogging. And then from there, even stepping out a little bit farther from the basics. And so I talked with, in one case, I talked to Leslie Samuel, who is the host of the Learning with Leslie podcast. And he has his Become a Blogger website where he specifically teaches people about blogging. And so I was able to interview him, and we dove into some different things as far as how to monetize your blog. And so getting a little bit beyond some of the basics. And so I'm trying to provide this resource for people to be able to come to. And so one thing that I've been able to do is listen to a lot of podcasts. And so I listen to podcasts about podcasting and different content creation. And there's a lot of things out there, but a lot of people that are trying to build a business, and whether it's an online business or a business offline that they're trying to bring an online presence to, they don't have time to be able to try to learn all the ins and outs of all these things and to track down all the different sources. And so I'm trying to create kind of a catch-all place for people to be able to find this information, be able to easily find what they're looking for and be able to implement.
Yeah, so has it evolved at all since the original intention of it, or is that's still the primary purpose and driving force behind it is kind of a tool for your clients?
It is still a big part of it, and so it's only I launched it in July. So it's only 4 months old at this point. So it's not, and so I've been able to have a focus. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm having a kind of focusing on the academy aspect of it. So kind of bringing a school, college kind of feel to it. And so I'm breaking things up into semesters. And so I ended the first semester about a month ago. I'm getting ready to start the second semester. And so for the winter, excuse me. And so the first semester was kind of just a catch-all, just kind of get as much information out there as I could to kind of get people started. But now I'm going to start to focus down, and the second semester is going to be primarily focusing on blogging. And then when I come to the third semester, I'll get feedback on where people are and what people are looking for. And then we'll focus in on a particular subject more on during that semester as well. And so we may look more into podcasting during that semester, or maybe people really want to dive deeper with the blogging part. And so we'll just take where we left off and go even farther. And so it is really still kind of my main purpose is to have that connection with the business like that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how do you actually get new clients and the process you do for that, for marketing and sales and such.
Unfortunately, I'm terrible with this. And so just the way my personality is, I have a hard time getting out there. And so growing up, right now I'm having to get over my fear of sales and my preconceived ideas of sales. And so, I'm realizing it's not just about being pushy and trying to really convince people that they have to buy from me, but just trying to go from the aspect or the angle of trying to help people. And as they find me helpful, then from there, they can be able to then take it to the next level of hire me for some work. And so one of the things that I've done is on 48days.net has been one of the places that I've gotten some work from. And one in particular is on one of the groups there on 48 Days. I was just looking through, and there was someone that was asking for some help on their website. They had several questions. They were trying to do it on their own, stuff on the back end of WordPress. And so she was having a hard time trying to figure it out. And so some people threw out some ideas, and I threw out some ideas that were on there. And then as a result of doing some of that, she came back and she's like, I can't figure out how I'm supposed to implement what you were saying. And so I said, here, why don't we just go ahead and talk, and we can try to talk through it and things like that. So I was able to talk to her. And then from there, she was still a little flustered with it, and she just wanted to have it done. And so she gave me access to her website. And so I was able to go in, be able to implement some of the changes, kind of clean some things up. And she was impressed with that so much that now for the last several months, I've actually kind of been her go-to web guy. And so I've been doing some just ongoing work for her. And as a result of doing some work with her, I've gotten 2 referrals so far, just in the last couple months, to be able to do some websites for some clients from that. And so that's how I think I'm going to approach it a little bit more, is try to just kind of reach out and help people, and then try to get referrals from those people. And then just try to go from there. So that's just kind of the strategy I'm looking at the moment.
Great stuff. So what have been some of like the biggest struggles then in terms of like starting this thing from scratch, building it out and expanding it?
For me, the biggest thing has probably been time, other than my wanting to shy away from sales and things like that. My problem has been time, because I'm also holding down a full-time job, as well as I do have a wife and kids. And so trying to balance all of that while trying to build this business on the side. And so trying to find the time that I need to really put into the business to be able to make it what it should be and what it ought to be able to make myself available to my clients while not neglecting my family. And so that's been the hardest thing that I've been having to work with. And so I've been able to talk with a couple different people about how to manage my time and how to try to get focused while I'm doing the work, so I can be able to be as efficient as possible and effective as possible when I am doing the work. And so trying to get as much help that way to be able to do that.
Yeah. So what are your plans in terms of going forward, where you're at now and the future? Like, what are you trying to do with this platform?
World domination.
Gotcha.
No. I just hope and plan. I mean, my ultimate goal is I also do some work with my church, and so I'm looking at trying to do some more work with that up to hopefully a full-time status. But some of the other work I've done with church is my experience in those cases. It's that they've been smaller churches, so I haven't been able to have a income that would equal what my needs are. So I was always having to have some kind of work on the side. So my ultimate goal is to try to get to where I could be able to do work in my church, and then the bulk of my income could come from creating these websites and helping people with their websites and their online presence. And so my goal is to hopefully be able to grow this to where I could be able to leave my full-time job and to be able to do this work on websites even more. And then obviously with that is with the Creative Studio Academy to really build that into a great resource for people that can be able to help them.
Great stuff. So are you pretty close to that level where you could do this full time? And then tell us a little bit about like how that process has been in terms of like the day to day. I mean, I think that would be valuable to get kind of an insight, because I think a lot of this stuff is pretty challenging and sometimes gets glossed over, but I'm always curious about the day to day of people trying to build these platforms, especially if you're doing it part time or on the side, what that's like and what the growth is like and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I've been really struggling with my time. And so I don't think that it's going to be any time in the next 6 months that I'll be able to make a transition, but hopefully in a year that I'll be able to start to see some growth, and hopefully the growth will be consistent. And then hopefully as I get new clients that I'll be able to get some new referrals and things like that to be able to build off of, which will be a big help, because just trying to do some cold calling, if you will, or just trying to find some new clients from just trying to do some raw searching. It takes a lot more time to try to build those relationships. And so if I can try to get my client base up enough to where the referrals are able to come in, then that really reduces the time it takes to be able to build that relationship. And so that's what I'm trying to work on and focus on now, is trying to gear toward that. As far as day to day, like I said, there's all these different things I'm trying to juggle. And so my work schedule with my full-time job right now, I actually work overnights, the third shift, the graveyard, as a lot of people refer to it. And so I do that Sunday night through Thursday night. And then after I get off work, I'm home with my kids because we're doing homeschool with our kids. And so I come home and I do homeschool with them while my wife is at work. And then after we do homeschool, I have some time, usually late morning, early afternoon, to be able to do some work with websites or some different projects that I'm working on with that. And then I usually sleep in the afternoon, evening, in time to be able to then go back and do it all over again. Saturday, I generally try to reserve for family. And so, there's other times, I mean, when there's pressing projects that need to get done, then my wife understands that happens from time to time, at least in this period of time that we're in now. And so hopefully I'll be able to get again to where I'm not having to worry about the full-time job, and this doing the web work can be my full-time job. And then I don't have to tap into family time to be able to take care of those things. But so that's kind of a basic idea of what my day-to-day is like. I'm also taking some classes to further my skills with some web development, and I'm taking one with Photoshop to help with my graphic design. And so trying to work in some of those things as well, just kind of in the nooks and crannies as I go through. And so it's a slow process for me where I'm at right now, but I think I'm getting a pretty good foundation being laid to where pretty soon, like I said, hopefully 6 months to a year, that I'm going to be able to start to see some real growth and be able to take off.
Good stuff. Well, hey, before we wrap it up, as we're getting close to the time, where can people reach out to you and connect with you and what you're doing?
I would say go ahead and go to creativestudio.academy, and you can be able to go there and be able to find out some more information. In fact, let me go ahead and get a special link just for your listeners. So you can go to creativestudio.academy/trenches.
Perfect.
And that'll and so that'll be a special page there. You can be able to do that, give you some information about what you can find on Creative Studio Academy, a way that you can be able to sign up for the newsletter, and then different other ways that you can be able to contact me if you have any questions or anything like that. I'd love to be able to help.
Great stuff. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. I'll make sure that's all linked up in the show notes. Just share with me whatever links you want me to link up appropriately. And then, for everybody listening, reach out to Joshua and check out Creative Studio Academy, especially if you're interested in this subject matter. You're interested in doing something online. It's a great resource for anybody getting started or looking to develop their skills. So Joshua, thank you so much for being on In the Trenches.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity.
And that wraps up another broadcast of In the Trenches. If you're interested in checking out the show notes, just head over to tommorkus.com/podcast to see our latest episodes. Also, I just wanted to give a quick update to fans and listeners of In the Trenches, and specifically what I'm working on right now. For the past 2 years, I've been publishing books, my own and others, through Insurgent Publishing, my boutique publishing company. In the past 6 months alone, I've helped 4 individual authors launch their books to bestseller on Amazon, including Dan Norris's The 7-Day Startup and David Nihill's Do You Talk Funny, among others. And both of those books are still top of the charts months after launch. I've learned 2 important things from all this. Number 1, that people still read books. And believe it or not, they're willing to pay for the good ones. And number 2, the $60 billion book industry is only getting bigger, and the barrier to entry is only getting lower, which means access to this market has never been closer to the average writer, blogger, or author. It is literally within the grasp of anyone who wants it. But you need to know how to approach it the right way, with patience, with a strategy, and with the right implementation and execution. That's why I've been able to launch so many bestsellers, many that are still top of the charts, because we brought great books to the people who wanted and would pay for them. No slimy sales tactics, just honest, powerful marketing. Now, I want to show other authors and publishers how to do the same. 4 months ago, I launched the pre-beta to a new super secret platform called Publishers Empire. In that time, I've helped a dozen authors and publishers start to bring their ideas to life. And with their help and feedback, we've quickly developed what is, in my opinion, the best, most comprehensive publishing training platform in the world. And now I'm getting ready to open the doors up to a few more students. So if you're interested in being part of a tight-knit family of publishers who help and support one another through their writing and publishing projects, if you want access to over 100 HT training videos to take you through the writing and publishing process, if you want access to proven copy and paste book marketing and sales copy, stuff that we've used to launch bestsellers, and if you'd like professional book covers and templates you could plug your own work into and look like a pro in minutes, and if you'd like all of that while getting the chance to be mentored by me, check out publishersempire.com and sign up to be notified when we launch. That's www.publishersempire.com. I hope to see you there. As always, this is Tom Morkus. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Thank you for listening to In the Trenches. Your creative work doesn't stop here. Join the resistance, the small but growing army of entrepreneurs and artists putting a dent in the world at www.tommorkus.com. Never fight alone. Join the resistance.